Royal author Hugo Vickers has just revealed that the Queen was reportedly living in fear and deep concern because of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. She allegedly worried that the private conversations she normally had with them could have been secretly recorded to later be leaked to the public.
The Queen suspects the Sussexes were mic'd up on one visit to see her.
Vickers exposes what he believes was a serious trust issue between the Queen and the Sussexes. Stay till the very end, because his revelations have shocked many royal watchers around the world. For those who don't know, Hugo Vickers is a respected royal author who is well known within royal circles and was privileged enough to write a biography titled Queen Elizabeth II, A Personal History. The book sold millions of copies worldwide and strengthened his reputation as someone trusted to write about the royal family.
Joe Elvin, and with me in the studio today is Hugo Vickers, a writer, lecturer and acknowledged expert on the British royal family. Hugo has written biographies of the Queen Mother, Cecil Beaton, Vivian Leigh, Princess Andrew of Greece and the Duchess of Windsor. But Hugo's new book, Queen Elizabeth II, is coming out on April the 9th to mark the late monarch's centenary, and it is a massive undertaking.
Now, he is coming forward with strong claims about Harry and Meghan, suggesting that their presence at the palace reportedly sent chills down the Queen's spine because she feared that private conversations could be secretly recorded and later made public. During the Jubilee, many people speculated that Harry and Meghan were wired. Meghan was seen constantly fidgeting with her collar, which led people to assume that she was allegedly hiding a mic under there. According to Hugo Vickers, when Harry and Meghan exited the royal family, they reportedly did so without properly consulting the Queen beforehand. When their intentions became known, many believed it was the wrong time for such a decision.
It's not.
Well, trust had been broken, basically.
Right.
And so I think, as far as, having somebody in the room, I think certainly there was one time is to stop them taking photographs or being wired, or God knows what they were up to.
What do you mean, wired for telly?
Yeah, wired for recording.
The Queen was already going through an extremely difficult period in her life. Her husband, Prince Philip, was sick and hospitalized, and the situation placed emotional pressure on her.
The husband of Britain's Queen Elizabeth. You'll remember he's been treated in hospital in London for nearly 2 weeks. Buckingham Palace have released this statement. The Duke of Edinburgh was today transferred from King Edward Hospital to St Bartholomew's Hospital, where doctors will continue to treat him for an infection.
At the same time, the world was facing the COVID-19 pandemic. Because of her age, the Queen had to isolate and deal with health concerns while continuing to fulfill her constitutional duties. The timing of Megxit added another layer of stress to an already challenging situation. Reports suggest that the Queen was deeply disappointed by how events unfolded. Although Harry was her grandson, the situation created emotional distance, and trust between them began to weaken.
Down a bit and realised he probably took it a little bit too far. I know he's got a lot of supporters, but I think he must realise one day that he probably took things a little bit too far. And some of the dirty linen didn't need to be washed in public. And it's very sad what's happened, because he was so popular in the past, and now his star has fallen somewhat, certainly in this country.
Hugo Vickers explained that confidence between the Queen and the Sussexes reportedly deteriorated so badly that the relationship shifted from family warmth to institutional caution. The palace allegedly became more guarded in its interactions with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Officials feared that casual conversations or private meetings could later appear in interviews, documentaries, podcasts, or books.
What do you mean, wired for telly?
Yeah, wired for recording.
So the Queen thought that they might be wired up to be recording conversations with her for Netflix purposes?
It's always a possibility. I'm not saying it happened.
Hugo.
Vickers did not stop there. He revealed that within royal circles there was growing anxiety about privacy. Protecting confidentiality has always been a cornerstone of royal life, and officials were determined to preserve it. Whenever Harry and Meghan visited, palace officials became extremely cautious, worried that sensitive conversations might eventually surface in media projects.
The palace is able to keep a really tight lid on Harry and Meghan's behaviour when it's only being demonstrated within the palace.
Yeah.
The palace can control it.
Because of these concerns, reports suggested that security checks became stricter before access to the Queen was granted. Due to fears of recordings or unauthorized leaks, certain precautions were reportedly introduced. Unauthorized photographs were discouraged or prevented during visits.
I think, as far as, having somebody in the room, I think certainly there was one time is to stop them taking photographs or being wired or God knows what they were up to.
Even though Prince Harry has often been described as the Queen's favorite grandson, interactions between them were said to be more carefully monitored than before. These measures limited opportunities for any recordings to take place inside royal residences.
Oh, really? Please.
Boo.
Observers believe that these restrictions also meant fewer chances to gather personal stories or private content that could later be used in books, interviews, or streaming projects. Royal officials reportedly increased caution regarding who was allowed into private royal spaces. Harry and Meghan were among those whose access was handled with particular care. Palace environments began to feel less like relaxed family settings and more like controlled institutional spaces where privacy came first.
I mean, this is a couple who are never far away from their iPhone, from their cameras, who have really chronicled their lives for the last 2 years. And I think there is just a great sense of mistrust within the family. They just simply feel that any reconciliation is not on the cards because they can't trust that it's not going to end up in a TV show or in a book.
Why were all these precautions taken? According to Hugo Vickers, the monarchy is built on discretion and confidentiality. If confidentiality is broken, a fundamental part of how the royal family functions is weakened. Royal conversations have traditionally remained private forever, protected by mutual trust. However, once doubts entered the relationship, normal family interactions reportedly became difficult. A loss of trust naturally led to a loss of access.
There's a lot of tension, there's a lot of upset, there's a lot of anger, and there's still a lot of resentment. And I think any rapprochement is really quite far down the line. William will be taking this very personally. I think he's incredibly upset and feels very badly betrayed by his brother.
Although these measures may not have personally pleased the Queen, she was known for placing duty above personal feelings. She acted according to what the crown required, rather than what she emotionally preferred. If decisions had been based solely on personal affection, things might have been different. However, the Queen believed her responsibility was to protect the institution first.
Where you had a woman who, at the age of 21, made a promise to serve and kept that promise faithfully for 75 years. And if we lived another 1,000 years, we'll never see anything like it again. I think we were all incredibly lucky to live in her reign.
So the Queen was not punishing Harry and Meghan by maintaining the distance. That decision was an institutional duty. Instead of asking herself what she personally wanted, the Queen reportedly approached situations by asking, "What should the Queen do?" rather than, "What would I like to do as a grandmother?" Despite her remarkable 75-year reign filled with historic achievements, many observers felt that the final years of her life were overshadowed by ongoing tensions involving Harry and Meghan. It was heartbreaking for the Queen, who had always wanted family unity and stability. She hoped the family would remain strong together, but the separation only deepened divisions.
But secondly, they both caused the Queen a lot of anguish in the last years of her life. It's one thing I will never forgive the Sussexes for, is the amount of stress they caused the Queen.
Instead of celebrating everything the Queen had given to her country over decades, the media became obsessed with royal drama and controversy. The headlines were no longer about her service or leadership. They were about family feuds, scandals, and public fallouts. Many believe this was the last thing the Queen wanted her reign to be remembered for. The constant cycle of building royals up and tearing them down only added to the burden she carried in her final years. And this is why Hugo Vickers said that the Queen allegedly feared that her grandson might record private conversations. What do you think? Were the measures taken by the royal family necessary to protect privacy, or were they too strict? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.